The more I dive deeper into this crazy rabbit warren of filmmaking, the more I'm sort of learning, which I sort of expected to do anyway, and I'm enjoying every single aspect of it. But there are things that I knew I had to learn, and there are many things which surprise me that I have to get grasps of. Things that as a viewer you don't necessarily notice straight off the bat unless you're looking for it, or unless you're sort of like in the trade itself and you start going, wow, that's really good how they done these type of things. And in the last couple of films that I have sort of produced for this channel, for my sort of portfolio, I've really sort of learnt how to use these subtle techniques to tell my story. And one of them, which I feel is one of the most important things, is sound design. The sound track, the sound of your film, how it needs to itself tell a story so you can tell the story. And I'm going to walk you through the processes of what I've learned and how I've learned it and share it with you. So if you are looking to start making your first film or project or anything like that, then yeah, you know what to look out for. So grab yourself a coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into the video. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video here at Benham Media. My name is Nathan and it's an absolute pleasure to have all of you here today. Thank you so much for clicking on this thumbnail. So, what I've learned in the processes of me making these videos and these short films and sort of like the journey that I've gone along, because it's also coming to my YouTube videos and how I sort of try to operate and try to make these videos as entertaining as possible to try to keep the viewer on board and keep on going. Because if you look at some of my earlier YouTube videos, you will see that they are quite basic, very sort of like, you know, you can tell that I've started off, and hopefully if you watch these newer videos, you will see that I've learned a few things along the way, which has helped a little bit going into my filmmaking process. Now, what we're going to talk about today is sound design. Now, sound is very, very important when it comes to telling a story. Now, I'm not particularly talking about the sound quality from your sort of microphone so you can actually hear what I'm saying, because that's a whole different sort of another genre. But of course, you want to have good audio in any video that you do, regardless if it's going to be for YouTube or a short film. It needs to be nice and crisp. It's more the background music. It's more the music that sets the scene, sets the tone. Now, I probably stress too much when it comes to music in my videos. Even in my stories or in my reels, I try to make sure that I find the perfect song for the sort of visual that you are sort of looking at. Like even now, in this video, I probably spent around about 20 minutes trying to find this particular song. Now, it's in the background. You're probably more concentrating on my voice rather than the music going on behind it. Sometimes a video doesn't need music, but I like having it there just for a bit of a giggle. And depending on what device you are actually using, you might not even hear it in the first place, because I need to make sure that my voice is sort of loud enough for you to hear and understand what I'm saying. But it sets a tone, it sets a scene. I particularly try to find something quite laid back, a little bit jazzy, something that you'll probably hear in a lift or an elevator, depending on what part of the world you come from. It's just sort of like in the background, nothing too crazy. I make sure there's no vocals in it because you don't want to, or I don't want to fight the vocals in the song. So it's instrumental, it's laid back, it is sort of like, hi, welcome to my living room and let's have a conversation type feel to it. But as I make these films, I go through so much of the process of trying to find the right soundtrack of it. For example, yesterday, I probably spent an hour and a half not finding the perfect song for the film that I plan on shooting in a couple of weeks, because I just couldn't find one that would work the way I wanted. So I've had to start from the drawing board. But the reason why it is quite important, and it's something that I feel as a starter or somebody who starts within this industry probably don't think as deeply as what you would probably sort of start off doing. Does that make any sense? Probably not. But it can set the tone. For example, I shot this little scene this afternoon just before I sort of set up this little thing. So have a look at this and we'll start dissecting it a little bit. And there we go, just a couple of minutes worth of footage, but I didn't put any music over it. It was just me going through the actions, and there wasn't anything sort of like would sort of capture you, to keep you wanting to watch. What's going to happen next? Where's this person come from? So what I've particularly done is that I've tried to adapt it in two different ways. So how I would like the scene to be set out, I would choose a bit of a sinister type of music. It's a very sort of like, what's going on? Where's this person coming from? So I added this type of music to the same shot. Now, hoping that I've done my job right and I've chosen the right music for this particular shot, I would hope that you guys are a little bit tense, a little bit like, oh, what's he going to do with that? What's going on? Who's he looking at? You know, does he want to do it? And it will sort of like get you on the edge of your seat, which is exactly how I was thinking when I shot that sequence. I didn't want it to be anything else. I wanted you to be a little bit nervy by the whole scenario. But if you choose the wrong type of music, it can put a whole different atmosphere on the shot itself. So for example, I threw this backing track on the same clip and it comes out very, very different. See? Do you see what I mean? It doesn't work. It doesn't fit what is going on within the area, within the whole sort of concept of the scene, with that type of music plodding along in the background. And, you know, it might make sense. Now that you're sort of seen it, you probably go, you know, of course that music doesn't fit that particular scene. And, you know, because the original music works better because that's the scene. But the thing is, you can get it wrong. You can, if you're not thinking about these things as you are sort of plotting together your particular sort of story, then you could probably waste a lot of time by sort of editing the film and then going back and then finding the music afterwards, and then you realize that it doesn't fit. You know, it doesn't hit the beats. It doesn't sort of tell the same type of story because you've had to do it sort of backwards or the wrong way round. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you have to sit there and choose your music for your scene every single time. I don't do that. I don't know if everybody does that. But for my next movie, for what I want with the opening sequence, I need a particular type of music to work with that sequence. So I'm trying to find the soundtrack to the opening shot where you establish the characters. So for me to shoot it and then try to find it, it won't work. And it is pretty much something which I didn't think I would have to think about when I started making videos, not just movies, but also, YouTube videos. When I'm out and about and I'm doing my meetups and I try to find the right soundtrack to give you the right type of feel to the lot of fun that we are having on sets and on shoots and on the meetups, I try to get the right type of atmosphere to make you enjoy it as much. Because as much as I probably don't need the audio for this particular video, it's just there. It's just there to make it more pleasurable for you to watch. You probably won't notice it if I turn the music off and continue the rest of this video without it, but things I would. And I think as a creator, I think most other creators would as well. But yeah, picking your soundtrack to your video or your film is really important. It works. With that particular clip, it without music didn't make any sense. Yeah, you could still put a little bit of sort of sinisterness to it within the camera movements and the way that the character would act, but having that sort of sinister music just intensifies, gets the blood going a little bit, and makes you really sort of like want to know what's going on. That's of course if I've did my job properly. But yeah, these are the sort of things that you sort of probably don't think about when you start making videos or films. And then of course you've got the different, sound elements, the door slamming, the sort of like the taps running or the footsteps, all these different type of sounds that you can put into your videos, into your shots to try to tell the story. And of course, if you are looking for ways to source this type of material, there are so many places, websites online that you can find them. Now, I personally use Epidemic Sound. It is a fantastic platform for you to use. It has thousands upon thousands of songs, both with lyrics, and also you can get the instrumental sides of it, and there are all sorts of different ways that you can just get the bass line or the instrumental, but there's also thousands of different sound effects as well. So if you want an explosion or a gunshot or somebody walking or somebody coughing or even ambient sound of a city and people walking around, it is all there under one roof. Now, this video isn't sponsored by Epidemic Sound, although that would be lovely. That would be really, really nice. I use Epidemic Sound because it was one of the first ones that I discovered, and it is reasonably cheap. I think I pay $9.99 a month for being able to use it on this particular channel, to have the license to use it in some of my projects, and it is really, really good. But it is only sound. It is only songs, and it is sound effects. There are other ones out there like MusicBed, which is what I shot one of my videos for. They are also a really, really good sort of source material for soundtracks and sound elements. And you got the ones like Artlists, and I think there's a few more out there which I can't think of me right now, but where you can also get video elements as well. You can get title cards, and you can get sort of things that you can plug straight into your software, and then all of a sudden you've got sort of like stock video as well going as well. So have a bit of a shop around. I find Epidemic Sound is perfect for me at this particular time, but if I want to sort of start growing as a filmmaker, I might have to look at other sort of sites which are a little bit more expensive but can get more for your buck. But also, if you are not looking to buy a subscription to any particular sort of like website or anything like that, and you just want to make YouTube videos, YouTube even has its own sound studio as well. So if you go into your sort of YouTube studio, go all the way down, and you will see, and it's got loads and loads of songs and special effects that you can use within your YouTube videos, license depending, of course, make sure you check the small print, but it doesn't come at any costs. They might not be as good as what you would do if you buy on subscription, but they are there, and you know, I've used them quite a fair bit in the past as well, when I was still sort of building up my sort of confidence in making videos like this. But guys, that is me done for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you found it interesting, please consider liking the video, because it really does help out the channel. And if you're not yet subscribed, please give it a go, because who knows where this journey would go to. And I'm on the race to 1,000 subscribers, and I would love for you to be part of this journey with me. And yeah, keep an eye out. We'll be shooting our next short film very, very shortly. Any links or information about myself or the companies that I work with are in the description. And yeah, I look forward to seeing each and every single one of you in the next video. But until then, bye-bye.